Greetings, fellow dungeon delvers, and welcome to Dorans and Dragons, where we work together to come up with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition builds for your favorite League of Legends champions. Today we're building Xerath, the Magus Ascendant, and I hope we make Swag proud. Xerath's story is complicated to say the least. Born a slave, Xerath endured a harsh life, losing both of his parents, and only managing to escape his situation by an unlikely encounter with Azir, the future Emperor of Shurima. Xerath and Azir were like brothers, with Xerath constantly pushing them both to become better, whether it be in academic pursuits or learning to fight and defend themselves. Xerath's magic far outstripped Azir, but he kept his abilities a secret from his friend. In this friendship, Xerath saw the potential to end the disgusting blight of slavery from the glorious empire once and for all. This goal drove Xerath, and he would stop at nothing to achieve it. The Emperor hated Azir, and Xerath devised a plan to stop his wife from ever bearing children that would usurp Azir's claim to the throne. When that plan failed, Xerath called upon a storm of arcane power to destroy the queen and her son, and incinerated the Emperor himself when he confronted Xerath. He blamed the deaths on a tribe of mages in the desert, and Azir destroyed them, blindly trusting Xerath. Now that Azir was crowned Emperor, Xerath expected his friend to free him and end slavery in the Empire. Instead, Azir expanded the Empire, and actually expanded slavery by enslaving the people of the conquered lands. Xerath confronted Azir, who told him that he was a slave and should remember his place. The last bit of goodness died in Xerath that day. He decided that he would kill Azir and take the Empire for himself. He manipulated the Emperor into taking the Ritual of Ascension, claiming he would have the strength to create a global empire. On the day of his ascension, just as Azir was rising to accept the ritual's power, he hugged Xerath and told him that he was his eternal brother, and that all Shuriman slaves were now freed. Unfortunately, Xerath could no longer be swayed, and as Azir reached out to the sun's energies, Xerath blasted him away and took the power for himself. His body was destroyed as the arcane power ravaged it, and he became a being of pure arcane energy. Renekton and Nasus arrived too late, bringing a magical sarcophagus that once contained a spirit of eternal fire. They threw Xerath into it, hoping to contain him. He shattered the sarcophagus, but the brothers forced him into the Tomb of Emperors, where Nasus sealed Renekton and Xerath inside. Millennia passed before the tomb was opened, and Xerath now seeks to regain his power and take the world that turned him into this monster. Before we get started with the build, go ahead and like the video and hit that subscribe button so you're always notified when we release our builds. We'd like to thank one of this month's Doran's Blade patrons, Emo Himbo. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to us. Emo Himbo chose Xerath to build as part of the rewards for our Blade Tier Plus patrons. Come join us over on Patreon today for just $1 to get access to our awesome Discord community where we talk League and D&D all day long. Alright, now let's get into it. Here's a quick preview of the build. For race, we're going with Air Genasi. Per usual, our stats are going to be determined using the standard array. For our stat priorities, we're going to max Intelligence and dump Constitution. We do have a multi-class requirement of 13 in Intelligence and Wisdom. Our leveling path is going to be levels 1 through 5 in Wizard, then we'll jump over to Cleric for 5 levels as well, and then finish off the build as a Wizard. Xerath's passive, Mana Surge, is going to come from Arcane Recovery. Our Q, Arcano Pulse, is going to come from Lightning Bolt. His W, Eye of Destruction, will come from Shatter. Our E, Shocking Orb, will come from Power Word Stun. And finally, we get our ultimate, Rite of the Arcane, from Call Lightning. For race, we're going with his post-ascension Lightning Body with Air Genasi. Air Genasi have a +2 to Constitution and a +1 to Dex. We're going to get Unending Breath, meaning we can hold our breath indefinitely, as long as we're not incapacitated. And then we'll get our Levitate on with via Mingle with the Wind. This will let us cast the Levitate spell once per long rest. For background, we're honoring Xerath's scholarly background with Sage. This will give us skill proficiencies with Arcana and History and the Researcher feature since we're a big nerd. Basically, you know how to use Google and a card catalog, and anytime you need to find a piece of information, you know where and from who you can find it. For stats, we're going for the balance Azir should have known he knocked out of Xerath with the standard array. Roll if you want to, just keep at least a 13 in Intelligence and Wisdom for multiclassing purposes. We're going to start off with our Intelligence at a 15 because Xerath has gotten to where he is through big brain plays and endless machination, plus his natural intelligence. Wisdom is next for multiclassing, and Xerath playing the long game on Azir. Charisma after that for the powerful persuasion he had over the young Emperor. Dexterity after that for his quick thinking. And we'll have an average strength and dump Constitution since we're a squishy mage. And hey, since we have no equipment to worry about, let's kick things off with some levels in Wizard. Wizards have a d6 hit die and give us proficiency in a few weapons, but no armor. We'll pick up some skill proficiencies in Religion and Investigation, which both benefit from our high intelligence, and work well with our Sage background. Arcane Recovery is going to work as our passive, letting us recover half our Wizard level in spell slots during a short rest. This is normally a throwaway in our builds, but we have 15 levels in Wizard this time around, meaning at max level we'll have 8 levels worth of spell slots to recharge. We'll also learn a cantrip and a first level spell. Our cantrip is going to be Thunderclap, letting you drop a weakened version of your W on yourself. Each creature within 5 feet of you is going to have to make a con save or take 1d6 thunder damage. Remember, this will scale with your character level, so don't forget about it if someone gets up close and you need to slap them back a bit. And for our first level spell, we'll wrap ourselves in our magical sarcophagus with Mage Armor. Mage Armor is going to give us a 13 AC plus our Dex mod for 8 hours. Second level wizards choose their Focus School of Magic a la their Arcane Tradition. Xerath makes Boom go the dynamite, so we're going with School of Evocation. This will give us 2 helpful features right off the bat. Evocation Savant will make it cost less and take less time to copy evocation spells into our spellbook. And Sculpt spells will help us scale down the friendly fire by letting us choose certain creatures and exclude them from the effects of the spell. Now I'll mainly be using this to quit passively shoving the wave when I poke playing Xerath support. Level 3 wizards learn second level spells. We have 2 at this level we need to talk about. Hold Person is going to be the early version of our E, letting us force a wisdom save on a humanoid that'll paralyze it if it fails. We'll pick up our W as well with Shatter. Shatter is going to let you make a 10-foot radius sphere of pain, forcing a con save on each creature in there, dealing 3d8 thunder damage on a failure. Skarner, Malphite, and Blitzcrank all have disadvantage on that save, so punish them accordingly. 4th level wizards gain the first ability score improvement of the build. As always, we're going to lay out all of our choices here so you can choose yourself along the way. At Wizard 4, we'll pick up the Elemental Adept feat for lightning damage. This is going to let our lightning damage ignore resistance, and count any 1 rolls on the damage die as 2s instead. At Wizard 8, we'll round off our Intelligence and Dexterity mod with a point each, bumping our spells and our AC thanks to Mage Armor. At Cleric 4 and Wizard 12, we're going to bump our Intelligence up 2 points each time, maxing it out. Level 5 wizards learn 3rd level spells. We're going to pick up our Q, Arcana Pulse with Lightning Bolt. You fire out a bolt of arcane lightning in a straight line, 100 feet long and 5 feet wide, and force a dex save on each creature along the path. Anyone that fails is taking 8d6 lightning damage, and anything flammable along the way is lighting up. Remember, if you aren't flash queuing that 10 health mid laner that thought it was safe to recall behind their tower, you're not really playing Xerath. Now that we have our Q, W, and early version of E, we'll jump over to Cleric for a few levels and grab our R. Clerics have a d8 hit die, giving us a little more sturdiness, but not much. They're going to give us proficiency with light and medium armor and shields too. We need to choose a divine domain to commit to, and I believe it would be our belief in our own ascension, making us Tempest Domain Clerics since Xerath is mainly Sparky Boom Lightning Man. This is going to give us proficiency with heavy armor as well, if you wanted to swap to a more conventional form of magical sarcophagus in the form of heavy armor. We'll also gain Wrath of the Storm, giving us a thunderous rebuke when someone within 5 feet hits us. You burn your reaction to force a dex save on them as you lash out with a wave of lightning or thunder damage, which you get to choose. If they fail, they take 2d8 of the damage type, and you can do this a number of times equal to your wisdom mod. 2nd level clerics learn how to channel their divinity, which is a once per long rest ability to harness the power of your deity. Tempest clerics gain destructive wrath, allowing you to bypass rolling when you deal lightning or thunder damage and just roll the maximum die. Between this and Overchannel, we'll be avoiding the shiny Mathrocks a decent amount and just dealing full damage to your DM's poor creatures. Level 5 clerics learn 3rd level spells. We'll pick up our ultimate with Call Lightning. You're going to summon a stormy cloud or harness an existing one. As an action during your turn, you can choose a point and slam your lightning down, forcing all creatures within 5 feet of that point to make a dex save or take 3d10 lightning damage. At max level, this is going to deal potentially 9d10 lightning damage, and you can use your Channel Divinity to max that out for some absolutely insane AoE damage. And we're back over to Wizard to finish out the build. 6th level Evocation Wizards gain Potent Cantrip, letting our Thunderclap still deal half damage even if the creatures involved make their save. So take that. 10th level Evocation Wizards learn Empowered Evocation. letting us add our intelligence modifier to any evocation spell damage we roll. 14th level evocation wizards gain the overchannel ability, which I mentioned earlier, letting us deal maximum damage on any spell cast between 1st and 5th level. The first time per long rest we do that, no big deal. Every time after that, you take necrotic damage, starting at 2d12 for each level of the spell, and increasing by 1d12 per spell level each time. Spoiler alert, you probably won't survive doing this 2 or 3 times in a row. And finally, at Wizard 15, we'll learn 8th level spells. We'll pick up the best version of our E with Power Word Stun. You speak a word of power, and if the targeted creature has 150 hit points or less, it's stunned. No save. They can make a con save at the end of each of their turns, however, so you're going to want to smash it before it has a chance to recover. Alright, now that we've completed the build, let's see how we did. First, the good. We're going to show them true power, with several abilities to bump our already insane damage. We also have multiple ways to bring our power to bear, from storm clouds to bolts from our fingertips. Plus, we don't have to scorch our allies like we normally would in a lot of these builds. Now the bad. There are a few negatives here, the most obvious being our super low health pool. We're not even scratching 100 hit points here, and our AC isn't much better. Also, our ultimate won't work indoors unless they splurged for those cathedral ceilings. And finally, we can only zoom around a little bit instead of permanent levitation. So, what'd you think? I've included a link to this build via D&D Beyond in the description below, as well as Amazon links to the books used in this build. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a few awesome rewards, and you get access to our great Discord community. We plan on churning out one League Champion build every week. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you on the Rift, or in the Forgotten Realms.